Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our ISKCON official YouTube channel. Today I am going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto, 20th chapter, text 9 onwards. Srutva Parjananinadam Mandukaha Sasujor Tusnim Sayanaham Pragjadvat Brahmana Niyamate. And the frogs, who had all along been lying silent, suddenly began croaking when they heard the rumbling of the raining clouds. In the same way that the Brahmana students who perform their morning duties in silence begin reciting their lessons when called by the teacher. So in the purport, Sri Prabhupada Maharaj in Krishna book says that after the first rainfall, when there is a thundering sound in the clouds, all the frogs begin to croak. Like students suddenly engaged in reading their studies. Students are generally supposed to rise early in the morning. They do not usually arise of their own accord, however, but only when there is a bell sounded in the temple or in the cultural institution. By the order of the spiritual master, they immediately rise, and after finishing their morning duties, they sit down to study the Vedas or chant Vedic mantras. Similarly, everyone is sleeping in the darkness of Kali Yuga, but when there is a great Acharya by his calling, only everyone takes to the study of the Vedas to acquire actual knowledge, as we have done. Although without this ISKCON movement, we had not been doing this now what we are now doing. It's a good fortune that we have come in association with such great persons, great acharyas. In verse 10 it is said that asan utpatha gaminya kshudra nadyo anusu shatihi punso jatha swatantrasya deha dravina sampada. With the advent of rainy season, the insignificant streams which had become dry began to swell and then strayed from their proper courses, like the body, property, and money of a man controlled by the urges of his senses. So Srila Prabhupada Maharaj in Krishna book says that during the rainy season, many small ponds, lakes, and rivulets become filled with water, otherwise the rest of the year they remain dry. Similarly, materialistic persons are dry, but sometimes when they are in so-called opulent position with a home or children or a little bank balance, they appear to be flourishing, but immediately afterwards they become dry again, like the small rivulets and ponds. The poet Vidyapati said that in the society of friends, family, children, wife, and so on, there is certainly some pleasure, but that for pleasure is compared to a drop of water in the desert. Everyone is hankering after happiness, just as in the desert, everyone is hankering after water. If in the desert there is a drop of water, the water is there, of course, but the benefit from that drop of water is very insignificant. In our materialistic way of life, we are hankering after the ocean of happiness, but in the form of society, friendship, and friends and mundane love, we are getting no more than a drop of water. Our satisfaction is never achieved as the small rivulets, lakes, and ponds are never filled with water in the dry season. So, Sanatana Goswami in Doshan says that previously dried up, the small rivers now went upwards. Similarly, the bodies were first thin, pained by hunger, and later were supplied with enjoyment through commerce when the people took to sinful life, because they acted independently. Swatantrasya Therefore, they are insignificant like the small rivers. Shudranadhyaha. So in verse 11 it is said that Harita Haribhi Saspair Indragopais Lohita Uchilindra Kritatchaya Nrinam Sri Iva Abhut. The newly grown grass made the earth emerald green. The Indragopa insects added a reddish hue, and white mushrooms added further color and circles of shade. Thus, the earth appeared like a person who has suddenly become rich. So, and the disciples of Srila Prabhupada Maharaj says, quoting from Siddha Swami, the word Nrinam indicates men of the royal order. Thus the colorful display of dark green fields decorated with bright red insects and white mushrooms umbrellas can be compared to a royal parade displaying the military strength of a king. Sanatana Goswami says, the earth became red from the abundance of Indragopa insects that appear in Vrindavan with the first rains. The earth green with grass was like the wealth and property of rulers, made colorful with cloth and ornaments. So, verse 12 says that Ketrani Sasya Sampadbhi Karsakanam Mudam Daduhu Manina Anutapam Vai Daivadhinam Ajanatam. With their wealth of grains, the fields gave joy to the farmers, but those fields created remorse in the hearts of those who were too proud to engage in farming and who failed to understand how everything is under the control of the Supreme. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada Maharaj's disciple says, it is common for people living in large cities to become miserable and disgusted when there is ample rainfall. They do not understand or have forgotten that the rain is nourishing the crops they will eat. Although they certainly enjoy eating, they do not appreciate that with the rain, the Supreme Lord is feeding not only human beings, but also plants, animals, and the earth itself. But unsophisticated people often look down their noses at those engaged in agricultural work. In fact, in American slang, a simple, unintelligent person is sometimes called a farmer. There are also government agencies that restrict agricultural production because certain capitalists fear the effect on market prices. Because of various artificial and manipulative practices in modern government, we find widespread food shortage throughout the world, even in the United States, among the poor stricken. And at the same time, we find the governments paying farmers not to plant crops. Sometimes these governments throw huge amounts of food into the ocean. And thus the administration of the arrogant and ignorant, those who are too proud to obey the laws of God or too ignorant to recognize them, will always cause frustration among the people, whereas a God-conscious government will provide abundance and happiness for all. So, in the purport, the Sanatana Goswami says, the wealth of the ignorant gives grief, just as houses or bodies give joy and suffering by wealth of grains, etc. To those ignorant of the fact that they are controlled by karma, who think they are their bodies or are proud of their wealth, so the fields give joy to the farmers by the abundance of grain. This way, this rainy season is described by Sukadeva Goswami in verse 20th chapter of 10th canto. So thank you very much for listening to this lecture, and please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like our channel, and get the blessings of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.